All right, hello there, podcasters. My name is John. This is John Aquarius Show. Now, again, it's been a week since I last, actually, a week and a half ago that I last podcast, and that was because, again, we're still doing overtime at my job, so a lot of times it's just basically devoted to that. And then when I have time off, I really don't have much to say, or I'm just too burnt out to do anything else. So again, this is just a hobby right now until I actually figure out what I'm going to do with this and try to even improve on it. Also, when the overtime stops, I'll be most likely devoting more time to this and probably do a little bit more. Probably upload on every other week, or maybe every week, depending on my availability and what I'm planning on doing. So yeah, so this is so last time I spoke and on my last podcast, last thing I was talking about was like the reboots, and apparently, so what's coming up now is the Aquaman movie. It's coming up soon, and starring Jason Momoa. And one of the questions people have on this podcast, on that movie, is whether it's going to do, how well it's going to do. One of the things that we tend to forget is that sometimes drama tends to bring audiences, but at the same time, this is also the year. We're also in the times of streaming, so a lot of people just depend on the streaming. They'll just watch it at home. But I think in terms of the success of Jason Momoa's movie Aquaman 2, I think it's going to basically be the actor himself. It's going to majority of the fans who still like comic book movies are going to watch it. But Jason Momoa fans are going to probably still watch it. Things of that nature. But I think in terms of like its success, if it's going to be breaking the box office, I wouldn't be surprised if it does. I mean, because like if they just make it a fun movie, then people who don't care about like content and whether it's going to be rebooted, it doesn't matter. I think people are just going to watch it because they're enjoying they're enjoying the movie because like in the end, mainstream moviegoers just want to enjoy a movie. They don't really care if it has like some kind of like deeper meaning content and things of that nature. Um, so yeah, so I think it's gonna have somewhat of success. However, in terms of the grand scheme of things, it's I don't know if it's gonna, in terms of those hardcore comic book fans who know everything that's going on with the politics of the of the comic book business. They probably they're probably still gonna see it, but there's gonna be a lot of people complaining. Well, what's the point of this movie if it's going to be rebooted? You know, and so that's a neither here nor there situation. I mean, they're gonna reboot it, but my thing about rebooting and is this situation is, are you going to tell the same story over and over again? I think Batman can get away with it, I guess, because I mean, you know how many times Batman has been rebooted, and yet still has somewhat of a success. Um, but like, will Superman have a success? I mean, I don't know if these movies will have a success. That's why I think the reboot is unnecessary. They should just keep on going with the stories, keep the same actors, and just move and just hire better writers and directors. Um, I hate the multi-universe storylines because it always ruins the story itself. I mean, it was cool when it was with WandaVision, Doctor Strange, because it was that mystical thing. But when you start having characters starting getting involved with, oh, this character's from Earth Universe 2.9, is like it gets confusing and nobody really cares about that. People just want simple storylines. I think that's one of the reasons why Batman is so successful, because when it comes down to it, it's the most relatable of, I guess, superheroes. I mean, it's a man with no powers using fancy gadgets, fighting people who are of kind of like a realistic, and plausible characteristics. Like Joker's a maniac, Penguin's a corrupt, dirty, scoundrel kind of guy. Two Face kind of like is a psychological effect of people's, dichotomy of, you know, good versus evil. The Jekyll and Hyde situation, the inner you versus the outer you. A lot of these characters in the Batman movies, in storylines, mythos, are relatable. But when you have like a plethora of different superheroes whose characters are not really well known, and then at the same time they're so far fetched. Like for instance, I think the only relatable character in Superman is probably Lex Luthor. Um, because like Lex Luthor is a character that's he sees something that's super powerful and he wants to take it down. He kind of actually has the real storyline for Batman in the Batman versus Superman. Like he sees Superman as a threat, he wants to take him down. You know what I'm saying? Um, so and then but his other characters, they're kind of like unrealistic. They're like demigods type of characters, type stuff like Dark Side. I mean, or Mongol or things of characters like that. So so that's the problem with the situation. Rebooting a storyline that's already been, and then what are you going to use that's going to stay original? That's the problem with the reboot. Now, if they said reboot was for like, the newer generation, we're just trying to reach a newer generation, then I would just suggest that DC Universe just reboot it to manga. I said this before in my last podcast. Is like, because I'm just saying, majority of the younger generation are watching manga and anime. They don't really care about this. If anything, they probably like Spider Man, because Spider Man is more of like a young kids thing. But I hate to say it, but Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, they're kind of like old school superheroes. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't really, really put a lot of faith in the reboots. But then again, I kind of feel like the reboots is to appeal to younger generations. But that's neither here nor there. That's just something I wanted to get off my back. Um, for the longest time, I've been wanting to do a story because they're already talking about doing a She-Hulk season 2, which okay, that's cool, I guess. I didn't like the first. Matter of fact, She-Hulk, and Obi-Wan are the reasons why I canceled my Disney Plus account. Andor was the only reason why I still had my Disney Plus account after those two shows debuted. Andor I held on because it was such a good storyline, but one of the things that I learned about Andor is that great storylines don't bring a lot of audience because it was deep and it was a slow burn, but nobody had the patience to wait for it. We were too dazzled by lightsabers and consistent, laser blasts and things of that nature that when we saw something that was like, where it's more dramatic than it was action, a lot of people were tuning out to it, and that was the sad stuff. But for me, Andor, it's like this. When it comes to Star Wars, it's New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Andor, and I think what was it, the Rogue Squadron? I did like Rogue Squadron to a certain point. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Star Wars, but I kind of didn't care too much about the Jedi stories, the space wizard thing. I think it just made it too, I don't know, too floaty in the air type stuff. But anyway, that's just me. That's neither here nor there. So I just wanted to get that off my back. It's just a bit everywhere because this is just me practicing my craft, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this. This is a hobby right now. This is something I'm doing on the side. I'm not expecting money or even viewers, which I would like to. But again, this is just a hobby. So if you're listening, feedbacks are welcome. Leave a comment below, subscribe. And again, I'm still working on this with the limited time that I do have. And this is the other thing, not to make any excuses, but I do have ADHD and I have some other kind of situations that it's really hard for me to stay focused. And this is all self-taught. Like I'm having to like look up and try to figure out what's this and how to work on this kink or da. So this is what it is. If you're listening to me and you have ADHD, you probably can relate to how my speech. You're like, man, he does sound like he has ADHD. He doesn't stick with one topic. So I was just watching. And this is right now. It's gonna be everywhere, and hopefully I can try to like stay focused on one topic. But it's just so many different things that I like, and there's certain things I do have a concern. There are more things that I rather talk about, but there's so much. They're so like they're darker, like things like North Korea, child abuse, child molestation, child trafficking, things like that concern me. I feel like it requires more of an intense study, so I can at least bring it to the audience with more seriousness or something like that. Where like comedy like that, movies, they're it's whatever you're exposed to. I don't know, but this is my ADHD moment. I feel like I had to record today because I didn't record last week. But I do have some things that I did want to talk about. Other than that, So let's just try to stay on this first topic that I wanted to talk about was the reboots. Now, I'm actually just talking about the MC universe, and I'm gonna keep on going because if I try to like stop and go, okay, this wasn't right, and maybe I should try to focus, I'm not gonna get anything done. So I'm just gonna just keep on going with this. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is basically a project I was trying to work on, but it was I was having problems trying to figure out how to execute it and think different things like clips and how do I get permission to use certain videos and things of that nature. And because I'm working overtime, I really don't have much time to even like try to like get to those points. And again, I do. And here's another thing: I'm not super smart, so it's not like as if I can like look up something and actually like do what I see. A lot of times I have to I have to actually have to have somebody sit with me and talk and show me because sometimes what I see might not compute to what I'm doing. So that's another thing. So I'm just going to get this off my back, and this is something I wanted to talk about for the longest time. It's basically She-Hulk season one. When I found out She-Hulk season two is coming out, I was like, wow, it didn't do really well last season. So what are they going to do with this season? So I'm just going to go back now. When I first saw She-Hulk, I already had my own. I was already on my way out of Disney Plus. I was about to end my subscription. I really didn't care about the last couple of series on Disney Plus. And to be honest with you, Obi-Wan threw me off, and that's if you liked it, then that's you. But I didn't like it. But then She-Hulk was literally like a slap in the face. It was like a like it was just concentrating on attacking male viewers. And maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm right. Whatever. But I'm just gonna just put this way: this is what I would have done, given what I would have done with all that situations. Like for instance, Disney wanted to do a She-Hulk film, but they didn't know. We have a limited budget. We can't have She-Hulk bashing things into things. We can't use her CGI so much because there's only so much we can use. So much money we have. Okay. Also, we want it to be a girl power movie. We want it to be a woman's first type of film. All right, good. All right, cool. What else is there? What else? What is the limit of the situation? What are my limitations? Daredevil's in it, but we can't use him too much. All right, cool. All right, so these are the things, and this is, to be honest with you, this is what I thought of on the first episode of She-Hulk. Like, as soon as She-Hulk came on and I started seeing the things that I didn't like, I already thought of the things that they could have done better. Like, for instance, all right, let's start off. I think, first of all, I'm going to start off. I think She-Hulk, they should have found an actress or a bodybuilder who is at least a tall woman who fits at least the physical prowess of She-Hulk. You could have had two different types. You could have had a savage She-Hulk, and you could have had a regular tall woman with athletic build. And you could have just done the Lou Ferrigno thing, where you just you either paint them up or use CGI for their color. That would have cut down on the budget of using a CGI She-Hulk. The Savage She-Hulk. There's this woman. Believe she's one. They already had a clip where they were using a Savage She-Hulk in the series, so they could have used that. But I think that was a man in there. So let's just cut back. So there was a woman who was a famous MMA fighter. She's super tall, super powerful. I think her name is Sasquatch or Colossus or something like that. She could have been the Savage She-Hulk. And here's the other thing. They could have kept on going with the Savage She-Hulk for a while because that would have been just cool. I mean, we're talking about women power and girl, first type of stuff. That would have been cool to see a Savage She-Hulk just unleashed. And then just have a tall athletic woman to play just the regular She-Hulk. Maybe she powered down because she has more control. Jennifer, I forgot her name, had more control. So that would have just cut down on that. So okay, so actually, my first part of the story is that they wanted to use. I would have definitely stick with the fact that the blood transfusion is what saved her. But I wouldn't have utilized they got into a car accident and somehow her blood mixed with Bruce Banner's blood. No, I would. This is what I would have done. All right, so first movie is basically Jennifer and Bruce Banner going off on a trip because they're cousins and they haven't seen each other in a long time. Excuse me, I got a burp. But anyway, so they're cousins. They haven't seen each other in a long time, and they basically want to just chill. Now maybe it's because he's going through a lot and he needs to talk to her. Whatever. Because what two cousins is just going, or maybe they're just all close for the beginning. They were just really close friends. So he takes her to her house, his place out in wherever they were, and in the middle of that situation, there's an invasion. Automatically, they're attacked. They're bombarded by attacks. Um, Bruce. They get knocked off. She's unconscious. She's dying. Takes her to his little hideout, and puts her on a bed. Now, when she's going in and out of conscience, all she could hear is the Hulk in the background battling. And while she's on the bed, there's a system. The system is taking care of her. It's like it's in the movie. It's in the movie. So it's not like I'm taking anything away from it. So basically, what happens is in the system, it's recognizing that she's losing blood rapidly, but the only blood that is available for the to save her is Bruce Banner's, and luckily she meets the requirements to have the blood transfusion. Boom, she turns into the She-Hulk, and she blacks out. Boom, you don't know what happens for a couple of episodes. Flash forward, she's in the courthouse. She's fighting a case with her new firm, with the firm that she's working with. Now, in the firm, she's fighting a case. She's getting to the point where she's about to end put up her winning argument. Boom. Next thing you know, what is her name? That woman, I forgot her name. But the villain walks in because it's in the series. The villain walks in and start attacking her. Now we could make this as a ploy that somebody set this up or whatever. So I think her name is Maxima or something like that. But she comes in and attacks She-Hulk, and there's a big fight. There's a big battle. She-Hulk comes out on top. Now here's the thing, you could literally show that because now you don't have a CGI situation. You don't have to worry about a CGI Hulk because now this is the Jennifer. This is the She-Hulk who has control. She's able to turn into She-Hulk and fight her without losing control. Because we're flat. The first scene was something that happened a long time ago. So we're flash forward now. She has more control. She's fighting. Forgot her name. I forgot her name again. But anyway, so she's fighting her villain, her arch nemesis. Because even in the comic books, that woman who she's fighting is her like her rival. So boom, she takes her down and has her arrested. And for some reason, the woman cannot comprehend why she attacked her. She just has a desire to attack her. She doesn't know why. All right, so boom, she's in jail. She-Hulk, her law firm wants to fire her, and this is where we talk about girl power and stuff like that. She-Hulk, the law firm wants to fire her, but they can't. They know that there'll be a lawsuit and that she would end up, winning. So what they do is they buy her out. Listen, we can't have someone like you know, representing our law firm. Now, they don't want to go the route of where they know it's going to be a discrimination, things of that nature. So they offer her like some kind of like a lump sum of money to keep it hush hush. Now, She-Hulk is sad because this is her first time. Forgot her name. Jennifer is sad because, this is a law firm that she's, this is her first job and she lost it based on defending herself. And then she looks at so she's at home and she's dealing with the bad news that they want to get rid of her. But at the same time, she doesn't know what to do with herself. But her friend, her best friend, the one that's in the film, she convinces her, like, because she sees on the film that on the news that this was actually a positive limelight on her. This made her look good. So, but so her friend was like, "Why don't you just represent yourself? Why don't you just become your own law firm? We just start from the bottom and we represent superheroes. You're unique. You're a woman and you're a superpower being. So you understand people more than anything else. Don't work for any other company. Just be yourself." So maybe, might have a montage of her just trying to apply for other jobs because she's She-Hulk, nobody wants to, hire her or whatever. But but they give her a lump sum, so she's not like out there out on the streets with nothing, because they knew that it would be a law against some kind of, she could sue them. So slowly but surely, she ends up convincing herself to represent herself and become and start her own law firm. Um, now there's a company that tried to hire her in the series. Now I would use that company as the rival company that tried to set her up. Whatever. But anyway, so that's one thing. And the other thing, so it would be, so you would have at least a She-Hulk who's a woman who's taking the rings into her own hand, whatever, however you say it, and just challenging the powers that may be with her own wits and ability and things of that nature. So she starts representing superheroes and supervillains. I mean superheroes, whatever, and defending their cases. Now you might have a plethora of different situations, that can go along. So that would tie in with that immortal guy, trying to, that he basically had like 77 different wives because he was just living different lives, convincing them that they were dead. And now, so with that situation, I would have had the immortal guy represented by Matt Murdock, and the women, his wives, who wants the money that they're owed, represented by She-Hulk and her firm. The reason being is because it's that dichotomy: men are bad, women are good, whatever. It's a woman's superhero film, so I understand that you want to, a lot of times you just want to have that kind of like you know, maybe men don't understand it, but I guess I see where women would love a movie where they're bashing men. I get it. So yeah, and then Matt Murdock representing the Immortal is kind of like like almost like a touch on the fact that he's Daredevil. The whole devil, whatever. The other side piece that I wanted to say is that the woman that she fought with in the courthouse was let go. She there was a Matt Murdock was able to. She found out that Matt Murdock was able to get her off scot free due to some kind of like implications, and she found out that basically that she something happened with her in the United States government, and that and there was a reason why she attacked. She had no memory that she was attacking She-Hulk, so she was let go because of that. However, she did have to pay for damages and things of that nature. So Matt Murdock becomes this questionable character. Who is this guy? Where does he come from? Why is he doing this? So that's where Jennifer starts, looking into him. But she's also have to like fight cases and things of that nature. But she, just like Ally McBeal, when Ally McBeal, because we always want to, because the show was supposed to be like relatable, like Ally McBeal. He becomes this person that she sees and has to face with from time to time on different court cases. One being the devil, Daredevil. He's representing villains, but not like super villains who's killing people. More like villains who are like the immortal guy who's taking advantage of the seven wives, or Giganta because she got away with attacking people in courthouse. Things of that. Like he's basically representing the little man or whatever. And this was his pro bono because we all know he's Daredevil and he had to make money to survive because, while he was fighting, battles in New York City, he was losing money. So he had to literally work pro bono to work with people that he could represent and get, and make money. So these are the situations, so that's one of the things that I wanted to put in. This is what I had more other ideas. Like, for instance, like this woman that was attacking her, it comes out that she's a secret agent. She was sent to America, sent to Latvia to investigate a specific leader. And then next so that's what the situation is, that she comes up missing, and next she's found at the waters and she's found in New York, in America, with no memory. And she's a model and everything like that, and the United States doesn't know what happened to her. But she has superpowers. She didn't go in Latvia with superpowers. So it becomes a possibility where it could be a spinoff to find out what happened to her. But because Marvel is so hush hush and doesn't know what to do with their extended characters, I don't think they would go with it because they still don't know what to do with Doctor Doom. This would have been a lead to Doctor Doom. That's basically what it was, because that's actually in her original story. But putting it into the film that would have worked. Um, and and then consistently there'd be a tongue-in-cheek law battle with between Jennifer and Matt Murdock with different cases dealing with supervillains and superheroes, and it would somehow lead to a romantic relationship. Now, what's the big bad in the story? Um, no, that's a no. I wouldn't have done the bro thing, but you do what you want to do. Um, but that really tidbit right there would have been something I would have changed. I would have made it more focused on court cases and between superhero and bad villains because that would have been the drawing line. Now the underlying superhero of nation being supervillain and things of that nature, it could just be that he's joined a certain league, and then he's secretly trying to still do what he's doing, and things of that nature. But that's just my take on it. There would have been more to that, but like that's just I just wanted to get that off my belt. I mean, off my back on that. I would have so that's just what I wanted to talk about. Um, so now there's a season two, and I really don't know what's gonna happen. But to be honest with you, after Obi-Wan and She-Hulk, I don't think I'll be going back to Disney Plus. I'm just gonna just chalk it out to just being like, well, I'm not your target audience, so I don't really feel need to resubscribe to Disney Plus. So that's what it is. It's neither here or there. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to get that off my belt. The other things I wanted to talk about, especially in the future, is different podcasts that I watch. There's a lot of I watch a lot of excuse me. I watch Scissor Brothers. I watch Bad Friends, Tiger Belly. I watch the Godfrey podcast. I even watch Congratulations for Chris D'Elia and things of that nature. And and I kind of wanted to touch base on some of them. So like again, this is everywhere. So I just finished just talking about the Marvel, everything I wanted to talk about to just get it off my back. Um, so yes, I just think I want to just end it on that, just because like I think I just in terms of staying focused, I just want to just focus on that. So I think I'm just gonna end it like that. Um, Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Again, this is a hobby until I'm able to get better at my practice. And have a good day. See you next time.